Holy shit.
UFC 324 just delivered one of the craziest fight cards we've seen in years. And guess what? I called it. I told you this card was going to be absolute violence, and the UFC delivered. Justin Gaethje versus Paddy Pimblett? Fight of the year contender. Already. We're barely 3 weeks into 2026, and we just witnessed a war that will be talked about for years. This is Sports Untamed, and I'm breaking down everything that happened at UFC 324. My predictions, what I got right, what I got wrong, and what's next for these fighters. Let's get into it. Let's start with the main event because, damn. Justin Gaethje is your new interim UFC lightweight champion after a unanimous decision victory over Paddy Pimblett. The judges scored it 49-46, 49-46, and 48-47. And I gotta be honest with you, I got this one wrong. I predicted Paddy by submission in rounds 2 or 3. I thought Paddy would get Gaethje down and work his grappling magic. But what actually happened? Gaethje showed zero respect for Paddy's power and turned this into an absolute brawl. Now before we go further, let me say this. Paddy Pimblett's chin is legendary. This man ate bombs from Justin Gaethje for 5 straight rounds. We're talking about the same Justin Gaethje who knocked out Tony Ferguson, who put Michael Chandler to sleep, who's been finishing elite fighters his entire career. Paddy got dropped multiple times. His face was a mess by the end of the fight. Blood everywhere, swelling, cuts. He looked like he went through a war. Because he did. But he never quit. He kept coming forward, kept throwing punches, kept trying to make it a fight. And you know what? That earned him massive respect. After the fight, Gaethje himself said it. That Scouser does not get knocked out. My God, what a gangster. Coming from Justin Gaethje, a man who's been in wars with Dustin Poirier, Tony Ferguson, and Max Holloway, that's the ultimate compliment. Let's talk about how the fight went down. Round 1, Gaethje came out like a bull. He charged at Paddy with zero fear, landed a huge right hand and an uppercut that dropped Pimblett early. I thought it was over right there, but Paddy survived. Round 2, same story. Gaethje dropped Paddy again with another massive right hand, then followed him to the ground and landed brutal ground and pound that left Paddy bleeding badly. After 2 rounds, I genuinely thought the fight might get stopped. But then round 3 happened. Paddy came out different, more patient, better footwork. He started controlling the center of the cage, landing his own shots, and actually won that round on most scorecards. For the first time in the fight, Paddy looked like he was finding his rhythm. Round 4, Gaethje reasserted himself. More pressure, more power shots, more damage. That last 10 seconds of round 4, Gaethje landed a right hand that literally twisted Paddy's entire head. I was shocked he didn't go out cold. Round 5 was a war. Both guys exhausted, but still throwing bombs at each other. Nearly 650 total strikes thrown in 25 minutes. That's insane volume for a 5-round fight. And when it was over, Gaethje had his hand raised, new interim champion, and deservedly so. But here's the thing. This was prime Justin Gaethje, not the more technical, conservative Gaethje we saw against Rafael Fiziev. This was the old Gaethje, the violent, aggressive, war-loving Gaethje from his WSOF days. The Gaethje who doesn't care about getting hit as long as he can hit you harder. At 37 years old, coming off that brutal knockout loss to Max Holloway at UFC 300, a lot of people counted him out. But Gaethje just proved he's still one of the most dangerous lightweights on the planet. Now he gets Ilia Topuria for the undisputed lightweight championship. And that fight? That's going to be fireworks. All right, let's go through the rest of my predictions and see how I did. Prediction number 1, Umar Nurmagomedov over Deiveson Figueiredo by decision. Nailed it. Umar dominated Fig from start to finish. Unanimous decision, all 3 judges scored it 30-27. Exactly like I said. Umar's speed, footwork, and distance management were too much for Figueiredo. On the feet, Umar picked him apart with leg kicks and combinations. On the ground, complete domination. Umar took him down, controlled him, landed ground and pound. Figueiredo is 38 years old, and it showed. He looked slow. His reactions were late. Umar made him look like he was stuck in quicksand. This was a clinic. My analysis was spot on. If Corey Sandhagen could control Figueiredo on the mat, Umar would dominate him there. And that's exactly what happened. Umar's now looking at a potential title shot, though the bantamweight division is stacked right now with Peter Yan as champ and Merab Dvalishvili likely getting the first shot. Prediction number 2. Jean Silva over Arnold Allen by second-round knockout. Wrong on the finish, but right on the winner. Silva won by unanimous decision, 30-27 and 29-28 twice. I thought Silva would catch Allen with something big and stop him. Instead, it went to a decision. But Silva's power, speed, and aggression were the difference makers, just like I predicted. Here's what happened. Round 1, Allen controlled the pace with his jab and movement. Silva was patient, too patient maybe. But at the end of the round, Silva unloaded with a furious combination that swung momentum. Round 2 was back and forth. Allen landed clean shots, but Silva started landing the harder punches. Silva also got a couple of takedowns, showing his grappling skills. Round 3, Silva came out aggressive, landed big combinations, and even did something wild. He jumped on Arnold Allen's back, and then jumped off like he was playing around. The crowd went crazy. Fans online were confused but entertained. Silva's power and forward pressure earned him the decision. And honestly, this was a fun, competitive fight that kicked off the Paramount Plus era perfectly. Silva's back in the win column after that brutal knockout loss to Diego Lopez. He's back in title contention at featherweight, and I wouldn't be surprised if he gets a big fight next. Prediction number 3. Natalia Silva over Namajunas by decision. Nailed it again! Silva won unanimous decision, 29-28 across the board. Just like I said, Natalia was more active, threw more combinations, and controlled the pace. Rose fought safe, kept her distance, threw some jabs and leg kicks, but didn't do enough to win rounds. Natalia's output was the difference. She was constantly moving, throwing 2- and 3-punch combos, mixing in kicks. Rose looked good, technically, but she wasn't aggressive enough. This was a clear decision for Natalia Silva, and now she's very close to a title shot in the women's flyweight division. Prediction number 4. Waldo Cortes-Acosta over Derrick Lewis by second-round knockout. Called it! Waldo stopped Derrick Lewis in the second round at 3:14 via TKO. Exactly like I predicted. Waldo used his speed, his movement, and his counter-striking to break down Lewis. Round 1, Waldo chopped up Lewis's legs with kicks. Lewis tried to pressure, but Waldo was too fast. Round 2, Waldo landed a counter jab that dropped Lewis, then jumped on him and unleashed brutal ground and pound until the ref stopped it. Waldo Cortes-Acosta is now on an insane winning streak. He's fought 5 times in the last 12 months and won them all. For a heavyweight, that's unheard of. This man is active, hungry, and dangerous. After the fight, he called out Curtis Blades. And honestly, Waldo versus Blades would be a banger of a fight. Waldo's earned a top contender fight, and I think the UFC should give it to him. Prediction number 5. Sean O'Malley over Song Yadong by decision. Called it. O'Malley won unanimous decision, 29-28 on all 3 scorecards. This fight went exactly like I thought. Round 1 went to O'Malley with his length and range control. Round 2 went to Song, who landed hard leg kicks and closed the distance better. Round 3, O'Malley turned it on. In the 3rd round, O'Malley got into his flow, started landing hard shots, bloodied Song up, used his 5-inch reach advantage perfectly to keep Song at the end of his punches. It was a close fight, just like I predicted, 48-47 type fight. But O'Malley's experience and his ability to win the crucial 3rd round got him the victory. After the fight, O'Malley called out Peter Yan for a rematch. He said, "Peter Yan has something that I want. Let's make it happen." Now, Merab Dvalishvili probably deserves the first title shot after his incredible run. But if Merab gets the shot and wins, O'Malley versus Yan 2 makes perfect sense as a title eliminator. O'Malley's back in the win column. He's back in the title picture. And honestly, I think a rematch with Yan would be fascinating. So let's talk about what UFC 324 means for the sport and for these fighters moving forward. First, Justin Gaethje. This man is 37 years old and just won his second interim lightweight title. He's now set to fight Ilia Topuria for the undisputed championship. And here's the thing, Topuria is terrifying. He knocked out Alexander Volkanovski, one of the greatest fighters ever. He knocked out Max Holloway, a legend. Topuria is young, powerful, and on an absolute tear. But Gaethje just showed he can still fight at the highest level. His power hasn't faded, his chin is still solid, and his willingness to engage in a war gives him a chance against anyone. Gaethje versus Topuria is going to be violence, pure, unfiltered violence, and I cannot wait for that fight. For Paddy Pimblett, this loss is devastating. He came into this fight 7-0 in the UFC, undefeated, rising star. The UFC was pushing him toward a title shot. And now, he suffered his first UFC loss. But here's the silver lining. Paddy showed heart. He showed toughness. He showed that he belongs at the elite level. His chin is proven. His striking needs work, but his grappling is still elite. And honestly, I think Paddy will bounce back. Give him a ranked opponent outside the top 5, let him rebuild, and he'll be back in title contention within a year or two. Waldo Cortes-Acosta is the most active heavyweight in the UFC right now. 5 fights in 12 months, and he's winning all of them. The heavyweight division needs new blood, and Waldo is stepping up. Give him Curtis Blades. Give him Sergey Pavlovich in a rematch. Give him Alexander Volkov. Waldo's ready for a top 5 opponent, and I think he can compete with anyone in that division. Umar Nurmagomedov is now in a weird spot. He's clearly one of the best bantamweights in the world, but Peter Yan is the champion, and Merab Dvalishvili probably gets the first title shot. So what does Umar do? Wait? Or take another fight? If I'm Umar, I take one more fight against a top contender. Maybe Corey Sandhagen in a rematch. Maybe Sean O'Malley if O'Malley doesn't get the Yan fight. One more big win, and Umar's guaranteed a title shot. Sean O'Malley is back. After 2 straight losses to Merab, people were starting to wonder if O'Malley's star was fading. But he showed up at UFC 324 and got the job done. He's still one of the most popular fighters in the UFC. He's still a draw. And a rematch with Peter Yan, the man he controversially beat in 2022, would do huge numbers. O'Malley versus Yan 2. Make it happen, UFC. Natalia Silva is knocking on the door of a title shot. One more win, and she's fighting for gold. She's exciting, she's skilled, and she's ready. All right, let's talk about what I learned from UFC 324 and where my predictions went wrong. Lesson number 1. Never underestimate a fighter's heart. I predicted Paddy would submit Gaethje. I thought Gaethje's aggressive style would lead to him getting taken down and choked out. But what I underestimated was Gaethje's fight IQ and takedown defense. Gaethje stuffed almost every takedown attempt from Paddy, and when Paddy did get him down briefly, Gaethje got right back up. Gaethje's wrestling background and experience showed up big time. I also underestimated Gaethje's power. He hurt Paddy early and often, and while Paddy's chin held up, the damage accumulated over 5 rounds. The lesson? Sometimes experience and power trump youth and grappling. Gaethje proved that. Lesson number 2. Paddy's game plan was flawed. Paddy barely shot for takedowns in the first 2 rounds. His biggest weapon is his grappling, and he didn't use it when he was fresh. By the time he started shooting takedowns in the later rounds, he was tired, bloody, and hurt. His timing was off. His setups weren't there. If Paddy had been more aggressive with his wrestling early, this fight could have been different. But instead, he tried to outstrike Gaethje, and that was a mistake. Lesson number 3. Styles make fights. Silva didn't knock out Arnold Allen like I thought, but he still won. Sometimes a fighter's style doesn't lead to the finish you expect, but they still get the job done. Silva's power and aggression were enough to edge out a decision, and that's okay. Not every fight needs a knockout to be exciting or meaningful. Lesson number 4. Activity matters at heavyweight. Waldo Cortes-Acosta's activity is paying off. While other heavyweights fight once or twice a year, Waldo's fighting 5 times. That's keeping him sharp, improving his skills, and building momentum. Other heavyweights should take note. The more you fight, the better you get. And Waldo is proof of that. Let's address the elephant in the room. Is Gaethje versus Pimblett the fight of the year? It's January 25th. We're barely 3 weeks into 2026. But damn, this fight set the bar high. 5 rounds of non-stop action, nearly 650 total strikes, multiple knockdowns, blood, swelling, heart, drama, everything you want in a fight. Is it too early to call it fight of the year? Maybe. We've got 11 more months of fights to go. But this fight is absolutely a frontrunner. Gaethje and Pimblett gave us everything, and even if better fights happen later this year, this one will be remembered as a classic. People will talk about Paddy's toughness, they'll talk about Gaethje's power, they'll talk about the back-and-forth action. This fight is going to be on highlight reels for years. So what's next for these fighters? Justin Gaethje. He fights Ilia Topuria for the undisputed lightweight championship. That fight is going to be violent. 2 power punchers who don't back down. Expect fireworks. Paddy Pimblett. Give him a ranked opponent around number 8 to 12. Let him rebuild. Maybe someone like Dan Hooker or Renato Moicano. A winnable fight that still challenges him. Umar Nurmagomedov. One more fight against a top contender, then a title shot. Maybe Corey Sandhagen or Sean O'Malley. Silva. Big fight at featherweight. Maybe Yair Rodriguez or Brian Ortega. One more win, and he's in title contention. Natalia Silva. Title shot. She's earned it. Let her fight for the women's flyweight belt. Waldo Cortes-Acosta. Curtis Blades or a top 5 heavyweight. Time to test Waldo against the elite. Sean O'Malley. Peter Yan rematch if Yan beats Merab. Or another top contender to stay active. The UFC has options, and I'm excited to see how these fights play out. Alright, that's my full breakdown of UFC 324. I got 4 out of 5 predictions right. Not bad if I say so myself. But what do you think? Did I miss anything? Do you agree with my analysis? Was Gaethje versus Pimblett the fight of the year? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this post-fight breakdown, smash that subscribe button. We're covering every major UFC event. This is Sports Untamed. Stay fierce, stay hungry, and I'll see you in the next one when we preview the next big UFC event. Let's keep this momentum going. Peace.